Hey, this is Justin Gilman with Quantum Leads, and today I'll be walking you through your digital marketing attack plan to show you how you can increase your online presence for your business and really generate some revenue online every single month. Now, if you take a look at the top here, we're going to be looking at the search term AC Repair San Antonio, which generates about 1,600 searches every single month. So there's a lot of potential and a lot of value there. But also, keep in mind that even though we're just focusing on this one search term, there's tons of other search terms out there related to AC repair or maybe AC installation in the San Antonio area. So there's definitely a lot more out there. But like I said, for the sake of this video and time, we're just going to be focusing on this one search term. Let's take a look at your website and talk about the first half of our SEO process, which is internal SEO. So like I said, we're going to start out on your website and talk about internal SEO. What is internal SEO? So internal SEO is essentially all the different ways that we can improve your website's search appearance from within your website itself. Now, this is very important because it's going to lay the foundation for our rankings and determine where our website is going to appear. Now, there's a lot of different ways that you can improve your internal SEO. You have your title tags, your heading tags, your local business schema. But for the sake of this video, we're going to focus on the two most important things, which are going to be content and keywords. Now, we want to start there because, like I said, they're the most important. So let's talk about content first. What's so important about content? Well, we want a lot of content on our website or a very content-full website because Google tends to look at those a lot more favorably. And the reason being is that when you have a lot of content, it gives users something to engage with. And when they have something to engage with, it promotes what Google calls a positive user experience. And when a user has a positive experience on your website, not only are they more likely to come back to your website, but they're more likely to use Google for other searches in the future. So it's a win-win scenario for both you and Google, where if you promote that positive user experience, you get a higher ranking and they also get some more return business in the future. So it's really important that we have a lot of content on our website. Right now, you don't really have a lot of content on your homepage, and we really want to change that. You probably have just this section right here, which is about 75 words, whereas I recommend about 750 to 1,000 words on your homepage. That way, you have a lot of content, but you don't really sacrifice that visual aesthetic. I know a lot of people don't want too much content because it takes away from the look of the website, and that 750 to 1,000 range is perfect for maximizing both. But we can't just throw up any content. We can't just have 10,000 words of content and say, "Hey, Google, rank me number one," which sounds like a good idea after what I just told you about content. We need to make sure that our content is relevant because we don't want to rank for roofing terms. We don't want to rank for landscaping terms because those aren't going to help us. We want to rank for AC terms. And the way we do that is with relevant content. And the way we determine the relevance of our content is through keywords. Now, keywords are essentially the most used words or phrases on a web page, and based on these keywords, Google is going to determine what your website is about. Now, an easy way to look at this is I tell people with your first maybe 6 to 8 keywords, we're going to want to answer the three main questions for Google, and those are number one, what type of business are we or what type of industry are we working in? Number two, where do we do business? So our location. And number three, who are we? What's our brand? And these are the three main questions that we want to answer. So let's take a look at your keywords and see if they answer those three main questions. I use called keywords everywhere. And if we scroll down here, you'll see your keywords from most used to least. Like I said, we're going to focus in on those first 6, and we'll talk about what they should be. So at your number one keyword, I always recommend your industry. So you probably want something like AC at number one, and then maybe at number two, you want some sort of industry modifier. Now, what I mean by an industry modifier is that if AC is number one, we're going to want repair or installation at number two, or something of that nature. You want air at number one, conditioning at number two. So you really want to complement your first keyword with that second keyword while keeping it industry specific. Now, from there, at number 3 and 4, I recommend always using your location. So in this case, we would do number 3, your city. So in this case, San Antonio. And number 4, we would do Texas. So that really establishes us in the location or some geographical boundaries. And that's going to help us because Google is going to look at that and say, hey, we're going to drive local traffic in the San Antonio area to your business. So very important to keep those in there and have your location somewhere within those top 6 keywords. I always recommend within the top 3 or 4. And now in the 5 and 6 spot, we want to focus on our brand. I know a lot of people think like, hey, as long as I have the name of the business, I automatically rank number one. However, that's not always the case because you could have a business across the United States or maybe across the world that has a very similar name, but is a bigger company and can rank on a national scale for your business name. So we want to make sure we have our business brand within that 5 and 6 keyword. That way we can rank for our own brand. Super important. Now, that's just kind of a basis. Let's take a look at one of your competitors and see what they're doing as far as content and keywords go. So here we have Comfort Boys, and they ranked on the first page for AC repair in the San Antonio area. They weren't necessarily number one, but they did rank on the first page, and let's kind of see why. So if we scroll down, you're going to notice that they have a ton of content on this homepage. They really built this out and did a good job of being very content full. But like I said, we don't just want to focus on content. We want to focus on the relevance of our content. So let's take a look at their keywords and see what they're using as far as keywords go. I have the keywords everywhere, and we have the Comfort Boys plugged in. I'd say they have about 2,500 words of content. This is a little generous of the 3,600 because it counts for content attached to images and other things, but I'd say about 2,500 to that 3,000 range, which is a lot of content. But let's scroll down. Like I said, let's take a look at their keywords. So we have air at number one, very industry specific. They bumped that location up to number two, really number two and three because it took it as two different words, but really it's number two. And then we have system, we have call, the best. So it starts to fall off. You see that their keywords are not fully optimized. They do have a lot of content, but their keywords aren't the greatest. So once again, I'd say use this as a guide. I think that they had a good idea of putting air at number one, and their location within those top three or four keywords, but then it started to fall off and kind of go all over the place. So kind of stick to the guide that we laid out, but use this as an example for, hey, I should put air at number one, and I should get my location within that top three or four. So definitely something to think about. But let's go back to your homepage and talk about external search engine optimization and how it ties into everything. So we're back to your homepage and we're talking about external search engine optimization. Now, what is that? So like we said with internal SEO, it's everything you can do on your website, whereas external is everything you can do off of your website to increase your search engine visibility. Now, in this case, we're going to be talking about backlinking. What is backlinking and why is it important? Backlinking is essentially all the different ways that one website links to another, normally through some form of an image, maybe an anchor text, or maybe even just a raw link thrown into a text. Whatever it is, the reason why backlinks are so important is because they transfer SEO power from one website to another. And by doing that, you're essentially telling Google, hey, this is a trustworthy source, and I either support the information coming from this website, or I think this website is very reputable, and that you should promote it. So that's essentially what you're telling Google when you're getting a backlink or giving a backlink to another website. So it's super important that you look for quality backlinks because it's a very fine tightrope to walk. Everybody always talks about backlinking, but there is such thing as a harmful backlink. And if you get a link from a spammy or harmful site, it can really negatively affect your ranking. So we really want to make sure we focus on getting quality backlinks for our website. Let's take a look at a tool I have called Ahrefs and take a look at your current backlink metrics and see what you're dealing with so far. So here we are in Ahrefs, and you can see your website's plugged in here at the top, and you currently generate a 21 UR and a 1.1 DR, which puts you in the top 100 for 135 different keywords and get you about 42 organic users every single month. So not bad, you're really ahead of the curve for a lot of businesses that I've talked to. However, we really want to improve on these metrics. So first off, let's talk about what these metrics mean before we talk about how to improve them. So first off, we have UR. What does UR mean? UR stands for URL rating. And what that is the individual power given to a single web page. So in this case, we're just talking about your homepage and the power it generates, which is summarized as a 21 UR. Now, DR, on the other hand, stands for domain rating. And what that is it's the entire, it's a power given to an entire website. So now we're not just talking about the home page anymore. We're talking about all of your service pages, your air conditioning page, your heating page. Every single page you have on your website is summarized in DR. So we really want to create the strongest website possible. And the way to do that is that we're going to mix all of our internal factors with our backlinking and our external factors to get the strongest metrics possible. Now let's take a look at some of your competition and see what they're doing as far as backlinking goes. Boys again, and if we go over, you'll see that their metrics, they currently have a 21 UR and a 1.1 DR. Very similar to you, but obviously they have that difference in internal SEO, so you see where the changes are made there. This puts them in the top 100 for 932 different keywords, generates them about 1.3K users every single month. And if we keep working down the line here, you'll see wefixit.com. They have a 34 UR and a 12 DR. Puts them in the top 100 for 2,800 keywords and generates them about 4K traffic every single month. And then we have Armendia. And if we go to theirs, they have a 38 UR, an 11 DR, puts them in the top 100 for 2.6K keywords and generates them about 2,700 users every single month. So you see that there's a clear correlation between having a positive internal and external SEO strategy and the amount of traffic that you're going to be generating every single month. But let's go back to the Google search engine results page and talk about the Google Map Pack and the benefits of what it can do for your business. So we're back to Google, and what we've been talking about is down below in the organic search results. However, if we scroll back up to the top, you're going to notice this map pack. What is this and why is it important? So this is the Google Map Pack, and essentially the reason it's so important is that it gives businesses two different places that they can win. You can either win down below in the organic search results, or you can win up in the Map Pack, both of which are extremely good. And if you can rank number one in both, you essentially guarantee that 1,600 people every single month see your business first before going to a competitor. So a lot of potential there, but how do we get into the Map Pack, or how do we rank in the Map Pack? So to get into the Map Pack, you have to fill out the GMB form to 100% and verify via postcard. Very easy to do, 100% free. And now to rank in the Map Pack, you're going to have to adhere to the different factors that Google's looking for. Now, the first thing that they look for is that you fill out that form to 100%. The reason I say 100% is because the more information you give them, the more reputable your business looks. Number two, they look for a strong organic presence, which is why SEO is so important, because not only does it help down below, but also helps in this Map Pack. And then the third thing that they look for is citations, which are all the different places your name, address, and business phone number are listed online. Some popular citations are things like the Yellow Books, the Yellow Pages, Yelp. All those different places are citations you can get for your business. But let's take a look at these companies that are in the top three. And ultimately, we're going to determine how many citations you'll need for your business in order to start outranking them on top of all the SEO things we talked about before. So here we are in a tool I have called WhiteSpark, and the order was from top to bottom. We have Atlas AC Repair with 22 citations, Tight Services Air Conditioning and Heating with 41, and San Antonio Air Service Experts with 37. And now you may be asking yourself, hey, how does somebody with 22 rank at the top? And once again, there's a variety of factors that they look for. So, they have the profile optimizations and the organic rank, and all these different things on top of citations. And we want to lead in every single category. That way we don't have a scenario like this where it leaves questions up to Google, or maybe you're stronger in one thing but not the other. So definitely something to think about. But this is all I have for you in this video. I hope it was very educational. Once again, my name is Jelson Gilman with Quantum Leads, and we'd love to set up another meeting to talk about things that weren't mentioned in this video, or even any questions you may have about the things that were talked about. So once again, I hope this video was very educational. Thanks for watching.